start recording again. Oh, right, I have to share screen with you. I'm stupid. Okay.
Are you still here? Oh.
Yeah, I'm still here.
The extreme is so fucking nice.
Right,
if we only did like the first 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5 mechanics blinds.
Right.
But it's fun.
Okay. So I did a bit of searching in the meantime while I was waiting for you to come back and all that. I did a bit of researching on the name of Selenia. There's two meanings I found. One of them is, the derivation from Greek, Selene, moon, right? But apparently the most direct one is Slavic, and it's associated with green, as in green of nature, of plants and flowers and trees. So, I mean, it tracks with Beatrix because her theme is roses, right? But most of all, if we're doing this whole thing regarding Asem, it's just underlying the Persephone thing. So, yeah. And it makes me think, because the pair with Otis, as Otis is the ancient Greek word for in the Odyssey for no one. So it's like, are those two actually references to Asem? Is one of them referencing Asem, the other one referencing Hades? I'm like, right now I'm a bit confused in the sense of trying to think what is the narrative standing. But the most important thing is that both are related to Asem. If that makes sense. At least that thing I've got pinned down. But the details I don't know if I... Anyways, so I'm going to queue because... Oh, okay. Healer privilege, I suppose.
Everyone is doing this right now.
I mean, yeah, I would like to do Arcadian today, but depending on the time, by when I end this, maybe not time for a queue here in Europe anymore.
True.
I mean, to be fair, I'm in no rush. It's just that tomorrow I got something else to do. But no, I mean, I can still do it, but yeah. That's another reason I have to talk to Cobb later. Anyways, I'm recording, right? Yeah.
I am Selenia Triantaphili.
Okay, and now I have to check the surname as well.
Sworn blade of Her Majesty the Queen.
Tree.
Upon my blade I swear, no harm shall come to Her Highness.
You will not defile Zelenia's memory any longer.
Oh, what the fuck is this?
Out in.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can...
Feel the sting of my divine blade!
I know this technique. You must
You
keep
place
moving.
them?
No.
No. You place them and then you move out.
Oh, okay. Oh, power break. Power break. Yes. Okay, so that's okay. That's in
then
and
out.
Yeah. She's using Seiryu the skills. To be honest, I recall this from Seiryu. What the fuck is this? Oh, okay, I see. And now here. This is... yeah. Okay.
But her blade work should be recreated so faithfully.
It's out then in.
Alright. Right.
Have care. Zelenia was capable of much, much more.
She may be enhanced. That's another thing.
I will show you the soul of a royal knight.
Okay.
For the honor and glory of Alexandria, I strike.
This is really flexing.
No more game.
It's so good.
What the fuck is that?
Away from the sigils.
Don't step on red. And
Oh.
don't step through the middle.
The sigils channel magic. Be on your
Okay.
guard.
What the fuck? Okay. So it's basically splitting the party in two if you're basically unfortunate enough to.
You've no time even to fear my wrath.
Oh, oof, fuck. Okay. Let's try to do fun. Alright.
You must brace for blade and magic.
Woof.
You.
Blade and magic. So she's basically playing as Red Mage. Basically, that's basically what. That's what I understood.
With an actual sword, yes.
Woo. Sorry. Ah! Ah!
You place and move away. You place and move away.
Ooh. I don't know where I actually said that, but anyways. Oh, stuck break. I recognize that one.
There is no escape.
Fuck. What, I don't know what's that. I don't like it.
Have at you.
Okay. That was nasty, but anyone... Okay, let's see. Fuck. Okay. Oh. I was...
No, this is merely a reconstruction. And yet,
I have pledged my life to the kingdom.
Ascension. What the fuck was this? Okay. Okay, got it. Power break. Woo! F.
My resolve shall never waver.
There we go with resolve themes. Okay. Foreign power staves. Power staves is a loaded word.
I am sworn to protect my queen. I will die before I yield.
I don't know if I'm well positioned, but screw it. Again? Ah, well. Oh. Okay. F. do that. Power break. Right. Fuck! I was being too lucky. Spectre of the Lost.
That's right. Zelenia was always there to protect me.
Sounds like... Yeah, fuck.
My steel.
I'm too vulnerability, so that's not really well. It's a good thing the other healer is a scholar.
Rage and will.
Right. Oh, again this, okay. Ah! Well, it's not going bad, to be honest. I don't want to speak too soon. I mean, it's challenging enough, but it's not impossibly hard.
Yeah.
Definitely is creative, that's for sure. The mechanics are really, really good. I mean, it's not brain dead. I mean, you can tell what you have to do, but not like you have to still pay attention with directions and stuff, and that's good. There you go again with this. Then again, what do I know about gameplay? My field is not gameplay. My field is Lord. Go. No. Oof. Fuck. At this point, I'm just glare mage. There you go. Glare mage.
A disgraceful display. Forgive me, my queen. I have failed you.
No. Is that the symbol of the crown? I think it is. Where the fuck? Oh, there. I need a good shot of it. There we go.
Took a picture of that as well.
I mean, yeah, I think it's the symbol in the crown, but it really reminds me of the shape of Zodiac so much. Of course, we are talking evolution zodiac, but you know. Use of the sword here. The sword is the emblem of, kind of like the, almost like the emblem of Ivalice, you know. But of course, with this part, this is so very much the symbol of the gates between Cocoon and Grumples. But anyways, I can't really speak 13 with you here. It's interesting. Look at the colors here, though. It's like this golden part here, and immediately the violet. Here, so that sarcasm. Right. There's a heart. I mean, yeah, it's in the shape of a heart, like a sun here, and there's like this heart here. They wanted to hammer in the thing about love, then they're definitely doing a great job. And flowers, flowers, flowers. I'm going to take a picture of that because all this imagery is screaming Persephone. Like that's not so, really.
And actually, the colors of Queen Sveen,
Yeah,
like Sveen. And
yeah. Okay, let's see. Get off that chair.
Did you get what you needed?
I did. Though these figures will complicate matters.
Is that so? Well, if we are done here, then I shall end the transmission.
What?
Hold it! If you have no scruples about thus defiling the memories of Zelenia, then there is no way we will ever see eye to eye.
Tell her, good girl. I really like the fierceness of Sveen. There's one reason for it though, which is people have this image for some reason in their head when you mention to them Persephone, like the maiden, the sweet maiden of life and spring. Yes, not so many people seem to be aware that there is a reason, the real reason for why the underworld and the stories about the dread stories about the underworld, they're actually not about the people fearing Hades' wrath, which is, the guy was very much chill. It's about Persephone's wrath, what people were afraid of, because like the epithet of Persephone in Greek mythology as queen of the underworld is Dread Persephone. So she was called the Iron Queen. So it's like, yeah, that image you have about sweet, kind, innocent Persephone, that's not how it goes. It was, people were more terrified of Persephone than they were of Hades. Just saying. But yeah. Again, I feel like I'm lecturing you on Greek mythology, and it feels weird. But
again, it's just like,
You are not fit to be entrusted with the cherished memories of Alexandrians.
I, for one, have no wish to employ the fruits of my research in this manner. It is a waste of time and effort. But since I relinquished my flesh long ago, I must resort to every conceivable method, so long as the hero insists on keeping the key.
So basically, the Calyx is basically saying, I don't want to, but you're forcing me. It's basically this whole thing about placing the blame of shit on the other person.
It's what you also remarked with the Endless Vein and Uklamat earlier.
Yeah, the thing. I wouldn't have to be doing this if you weren't making me do it. And fuck you!
Why do you so oppose our objective?
Are you trying to use reverse psychology with me? Fuck you. It's not going to work.
With the key, we would be able to harvest ether from other reflections and bring forth more endless.
Uh-huh.
We could give this chance to evolve not only to the people of the Ninth, but to those of the Source as well. I see no reason why you should reject such a boon.
So you know then, okay, in the Ninth. Do we have more information on, maybe at some other point, okay. Source as well. Then again, it keeps bringing the question. So that part of this means that there was truth in what Yoshi P mentioned about the shard, yes? Still doesn't answer
That is
the question. Still doesn't for now answer the question whether it's originated from there, but
or if it's the 9th of another timeline.
Yeah. But it's, I mean, at least we have a bit more security here. So Alexandria for that aspect from the 9th, but all of this is reminiscent of the 12th. So why is there so many things remind me of 12? The 12th, everything 12.
The way he says it is actually that you can save another shard if you relinquish. Like, it's the extra. Like, the fact he mentions the 9th there sounds like he has not originated from there. Or like this whole idea has not originated from the 9th.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. At this point, it's good to know that there's like this sort of... Okay, so we have this. So from there, that's when we can work on the rest, yes? It makes sense.
Yes.
Because it was in a nebulous state, so yet. But still it doesn't answer the question because, again, in the first interview to UCP, he directed us to about which shard was, and he directed us to Encyclopedia Eorzea in regards to the calamities, yes? So,
yes.
And then in the later one, he mentioned the 9th. So it's like still doesn't... Why did you point us there and then go into this when things don't match? Yes?
Yes.
I feel like this is so much like the obvious, if it makes sense. Oh, it's another reflection, comes from the 9th. Fine. This expansion is not about what's the obvious, quote unquote. And all I keep doing is finding more and more and more things that relate to number 12 regarding Alexandria. So this is I haven't gone far this. I just wanted to comment on this. I don't know if there's later on more shit that is like, what the fuck is going on? But so far this isn't answering my question, if it makes sense.
Another thing to mention is that when Yoshi P corrects himself or corrects misinformation, he says that he's going to correct it. Both interviews, he just answered a question. But that doesn't mean it was a correction of the other information.
Right.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So there are just... Okay, we have this conflicting information, and we have this now in-game. But the way he says it is like... the idea originated from the 12th, and through interdimensional fusion, they traveled to the 9th, did their thing there, and then came here.
It's the wording.
It's like
maybe the wording in other. Maybe the wording is clearer in other language. I don't know. But so far, he's only mentioning the ninth. So it's like he's like, you can evolve the people of this shard, and it's like, this doesn't say that they come from. Anyways, at this point, it's like picking apart every single thing because everything can be used as double meanings and. It's not what it seems, you know. But anyways, it's good to have this, so we can work from this. You descend to well, not only the people of the ninth, but those of the source as well. So, you know, reason. Also, there's another weird thing going on here. To evolve not only the people of the ninth, and it's like, if the ninth suffered the storm surge, the world should be fucked up, and Alexandria is the only place left. So, there's something weird going on here, no? Or is it just me?
There is.
Okay.
There is something sus about it. But
It's
a good
also
thing
the-
that I can actually speak German and can check that.
The
I
reflections
think
are.
the second one.
Fuck. In honesty, the reflections, I don't fucking care about the reflections, to be honest. So,
I mean, we need the other reflections to cause a rejoining in order to save the world, right?
I mean, yeah,
So then
that's
technically you do care.
that's a good point. It's just that I don't want to play this Boy Scout answer. What did you get in the answer of this?
They were mocking me
Uh,
because it was painfully obvious
okay.
that apparently they know.
Well, of course. But okay, let's go for the Boy Scout answer. Disclaimer: this is not what she would say.
How miserly you are. But unless you're willing to compromise, you won't be able to save anyone or anything.
This is a direct reference to that one question at the beginning of Dawn Trail. The what-if scenario where you can't save everyone.
Yeah, but I want to take a shot.
But also the way she said it, anyone or anything.
But unless you're willing to compromise, it's basically like this is coercion. Serve me, or do what you're told, or you're going to not be able to save anything. The problem is that we're already fucked. We're not going to be saving anyone the usual way. Sorry, it's just This is not what. Anyways, it's like I see the answer. I see the answer like in front of my face. The answer is death. But of course the Word of Light has not yet reached that conclusion.
Well, I'd say our conversation has run its course.
Uh-huh.
Ultimately, what you think is immaterial, for the seeds we've sown have already quickened.
Fuck my life.
So interesting how they use so many trailer lines.
And we're back to fucking seeds and the themes with Persephone. And if we're following the Eleusinian mysteries, this is for Demeter to reap the harvest. And we all know the story and the animosity of Demeter towards Hades. Fuck my life. Like, I wasn't really joking back then, like months ago, when I told you that this fucking story, at the core, is basically the myth of Hades and Persephone, but with the twist of Demeter stealing Persephone from Hades. I was not really joking, but but this right now, it's like...
I mean, you were semi-sure, maybe. Like, 3/4 sure about what the story actually entailed. Now you're like 90%.
The people have glimpsed hope in transcending death, and they can ill turn away from it. And thus does my role come to an end. The rest I leave in your capable hands, Calyx.
As a token of gratitude for consenting to my tests, I leave you with a gift. Be sure to take it with you.
I don't want your fucking gifts. Every single gift I've been given by this whole thing, except for Hades, has been a curse in the long run.
Also, I must say, two things in what's happening here.
Oh.
The way those... Yeah, he left the crown. The way those two presented themselves, they reminded me a lot of Xenos and Fandanio.
That's true.
Only that the mad scientist had Xenos' character, and Xenos' character had Fandanio traits.
Which only means that we're starting to go down the route of Endwalker. As in picking, you know, the trails from Endwalker.
That started in Stormblood.
What the fuck? There's like a hole here?
Oh?
Got that. It's like a hole here.
Oh, in the terminal.
Yeah.
Every terminal has a hole.
No, but in here, like in this context, in the throne here and stuff, it's almost like this concept of, it could be, I could be wrong, okay, but it could be like the concept of there's a hole in your heart.
The gaping hole that people want to actually fill.
In this aspect, yes, but for Asem, what is their gaping hole? Right. This is the throne, in fact. But there's a gaping hole there. And if you think about the concept, the dynamic of Asem and Hades, this is the throne of, imagine it this way, this is the throne of Asem, right? This is, you could say it's the throne of Persephone, yes? With all the roses and plants and all that stuff, yes? But what's behind is the pillar of support, and that's Asem's pillar of support is Hades. And there's a hole in there. Like,
Symbolism, yeah.
and if you think of the symbol of Gemini, you can read Gemini as a pillar. It doesn't help.
The pillar of creation.
It doesn't help right now that this is golden as well. Like this is the golden colors, and the room has dimmed to violet, and this is creating like this sensation that violet is wrapping golden. The same way the one who protects the memories is the violet of Hades, of the memories of Asem, which is the whole thing about the code words in Ultima Thule in violet. It's amazing. This is just inferred by visuals, and people say that there's no narrative in visuals. Are you fucking kidding me?
We can spot them because we do lore dive and therefore know what to look for or make the connection. But others just... I think they expect having zero knowledge or just very superficial knowledge. And then be able to deduce like some major plot points or something.
There's something about the imagery though that it's really, really sad. Like imagining the meaning of all this I just told you. It's like the music and the imagery and the hole in the heart, and it's like it's like stuck in my hairstrings. I mean, I will say this, really good points for ambience in the patch, considering the themes they're playing with. Like, they're hammering the point fantastically.
Like, from earlier on where I said it, till I finished the patch, like the MSQ part, I was smiling the whole time. Like, I'm not joking when I say, extract the source and give it to me in IV. Like, I want this. I'm so fucking proud of the devs and everyone working on 7.2.
I wish the fanbase appreciated it because, God, it's so well done. It's exquisitely done, but it's not done in a way that's in your face. It's in your face if you understand the story, but at the same time, it's not in your face. It's like this subtlety. There's an elegance to it, and this sense of wonder and mystery of discovering and untangling this whole story. And the thing is, to me right now, it's even more meaningful because of the efforts that it's like I've been trying to read this story, you know, trying to unravel the story, it was like this shot of, is it possible that this whole story is the untold between lines story of Aslan and Hades so far? And now finding myself in this point in which I look everywhere and it's there, clearer than this nightmarish effort of going through every single quest and MSQ and taking notes and in meta-narrative and allegories, and it's like it stops being like shooting in the dark and be like, holy smokes, I might actually been right.
Yeah.
But it's done in a way that so far the people are not picking up, and in a sense, to me, it's like, are people not really paying attention to what the story is trying to tell us? I don't understand, and again, it's like this reticence from the fanbase to keep Hades in mind, if it makes sense. I've always said that the fanbases are really weird relationship with him for all the supposed love they have for him.
Or for the game itself, because frankly, everything like 7.2 and even, well, with Shadowbringers and Endwalker, everyone was saying that 14 is a love letter to the franchise.
Yes.
7.2 itself is a love letter.
Said like that, it's even more, it's a love letter.
No. But 7.2 alone is a love letter to the franchise, in my opinion. Like, seriously. The way things are implemented from themes of 13, 9, not much 10 in 7.2 right now, but just the way it's handled with such grace, and people are just maligning it because of fucking superficial grievances they have.
I also think Dawntrail is a love letter to the whole MSQ in the sense of if there's someone who picks up the lessons of Dawntrail, like, I don't know if we're correct, but we've picked up something and we've gone be like, hold up, it's like, if this is telling us that we don't have to trust what we're told, this means that for MSQ, what is true and what is a lie. And in that effort is made us to revisit the entire MSQ through a different lens. And that alone is a whole different experience for the game. So if Dawntrail forces us to go back and revisit everything through that lens, this is in a sense of a love letter to 14. And it shows that in many aspects, if you ask me, Dawntrail is where, and thinking about this and how the fanbase is reacting to this, it makes me feel awful for the developers, really, like, really. And it's like,
that's why I complained also so much when I heard that everyone was doing everything wrong with Dawntrail, or why 14 sucks right now.
It's why I shut up. I'm shut off from content creators ever since July. I can't. It's like it's exasperating. It's almost like going back to the maligning of Final Fantasy 13 again. And I kid you not, I feel like there's something cursed about 13. Being this great thing, this sublime thing, and the fan base not understanding it. Like, Fabula Nova Crystallis is easily the magnum opus of Square Enix, and it's the most malign title entry on Final Fantasy. And it's like, Dawntrail is going the same way when it's the one focusing on Fabula Crystallis. I don't know if there's a curse placed on Fabula Nova Crystallis or what.
Oh, we may very well head into that 13-2 stuff when you said with the time travel thing.
Yes. Well, to be honest, I will say this. If the next stop is the alternate timeline to a Final Fantasy 13 expansion with Hades with us, that alone may be the vindication for Fabula Nova Crystallis, if only because Hades is there to pull us through, and that would be meaningful, really. I mean, I speak as a over 10-year long lore diver of Final Fantasy 13. Because this is sad, but not even the 13 fanbase understands 13. Just so you get the idea. I don't know what's about this ambience though. I can just stay here, looking at that fucking hole there, and it's like and the music is making me think of all the. It's making me reflect, if it makes sense.
One thing I noticed though are the bloodstains and the wall on the carpet, for example. Like over there, like there is blood and water damage and everything all over the place.
Is it blood or is it water
like
damage? Well, it could be both, to be honest. It's only, but if it's blood anyways, if it's meant to evoke blood, this with the hole in the heart, which by the way, the hole in the heart is such an important theme in Line Returns. I can't tell you about that, but it is. There is. There is really important things about that concept. So seeing this, it took a short while to click about 13, but yeah, there is a big theme about that. But it's like if this is like the core, the heart of Asum, and there's the hole there, and you see the blood, and it goes back to this thing about Asum's heart is bleeding, and the Warrior of Light is not realizing that. What is going to be the thing that's going to make the Warrior of Light realize? And don't tell me about if there's anything further down the line.
I will say one thing though, only. You may have fucked yourself over having that blindfold there.
I can't take it. I can't take it off.
I know.
It's important to Shirin's character. I feel like for some reason you're grinning like a fucking idiot while I'm rambling here, and I'm pissed off.
Yes.
Fuck.
Because I know what's more in store yet. So
you're likely here, like,
and I'm like,
you're likely here grinning, hearing me rambling about these themes, being like, Meowth, you're screwed, and I'm like,
I said it before. We are so fucking fucked.
I know, but so let's do one thing though. Let's do one thing. You tell me which quest I have to fucking take off the blindfold, and let's imagine that in the cutscene she wears poor Shirin wears the blindfold, but just so you can, so I can appreciate the whatever it is. Deal?
Let me actually see
look
if
at this though. X. I'm going to take a shot of that. Because it's like in the Catman's hair, remember? It's like the barrier.
Exactly.
X. Fuck, that's... Ugh. Okay. Oh.
What did you find?
No, it's just a thought. Because I've been thinking about the theme of Asum being 0, right? Right now, Asum is 0.
Mm-hmm.
The number 0, the concept of 0. There's no meaning.
Yes.
And this goes back to the lyrics I wrote actually. But when zero leads, when 0 goes ahead before the number, there's no difference. All is the same, right? Right now, if we're 0 as the Word of Light, because Asum has no meaning, no matter what we do, what we have done as the Warrior of Light, as Asum is 0, means anything. Because 0 ahead makes no difference. But if we are right now on the trail of Asum, however, in the trail of Asum right now might well be on the trail of Hades, right? As he's Asum as well. His is the third seed, so you could associate with the number 3. X in numerals is 30. 3 0 behind. This may be me again, high on fumes, but I've been thinking on that of the whole theme of numbers. So if we're right now after the third seed, the 0, and besides that, because the third seed is ahead, 0 has meanings. This is the meaning. This is what is giving us meaning. This is where we can make a difference.
Why does this bring me the thought of the Null Stone in mind?
Oh, I actually have that whole questline a bit hazy. I do have to replay through the Void Ark questline.
Same, especially with Occult Crescent coming.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But again, we mentioned about the 3x symbolism of forbidden. So, if in this is the barrier, is the Catman the proverbial barrier to Hades, do you think? I mean, he was in Shadowbringers. He's one of the causes for conflict with him.
One thing I would say actually. Okay, good. You know how when Asm, or like the Warrior of Light, dies and the soul shard goes to the underworld? He's basically going back to Hades.
Yes.
But in Shadowbringers, Graha, like Catman, took us. So we didn't die. So we didn't go to the underworld.
Oh, right.
Return to the underworld.
Right.
So, to some degree, you could say he's a barrier. Because he prevented that from happening.
Right. Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. He prevented us from dying, from going to the underworld. And just earlier, there's the implication, oh no, you can't die. Oh god. When the lightning bolt, which seems a bit, which seemed a bit random, like striking, they tried to kill us, there was a bit random there, But then Calix says, well, she didn't die. And it's like, is it because we can't die? Is it because we're forbidden to die?
That would actually be a power I would associate with Hades. Like, he is simply preventing our soul from returning, and therefore we can't leave the host, in that sense. But maybe that's the seal. The soul is trapped in the body.
And also, if the seal is...
And it's the proverbial plot armor.
If the seal is preventing... Oh my god, there's so much here. How when people say that don't really... lacking content! Fuck! But, look. Like, if the seal with the sword... Oh god, I just draw that. Like, 2 days ago. Like, if the seal is preventing... is pointed at Asm and it's placed on Asm, it's preventing the Jungian death of the Warrior of Light. Like, if we awaken as Asm, it's a rebirth. It's a death of our old self and the rebirth of a new one. But we're forbidden to die. We're stuck in stasis.
Yep.
And all of this amounts to some force not wanting us to reunite with Hades.
Not just that, it would actually be what you said about Demeter and the Eternal Summer.
Yeah.
For as long as we're here and not in the underworld, there is only summer.
There's only the sun at the highest point of the sky, midlight. Or
Yep.
the lowest, depending if we are going for the theme on play of the endless night.
We are on the dark side of the moon, so to speak.
That's a good point. That's a good way to say it. Yeah. Okay, right. At this point, I would dare say it's almost a fact. There's something that doesn't want us to reunite with Hades. There's some force at play directly in between, trying to separate them. Of course, what are you going to do, you know? If you feel threatened by them, the thing that you're going to do is prevent it by all means necessary for them to meet again. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Also, there is another thought that I had. Fuck, I forgot it again. Well, I can tell a different thought that I had. I had two thoughts. Beatrix, or like Selenia.
Yes.
She was like the most obedient special machine, basically, they had.
Mm-hmm.
The Endless have their memories. We have our memories. Our memory is the reason we have free will. And because Selenia was recreated from other people's memories, but has no memories of her own.
Right.
Does that mean that's why she can't function as her own being? Which again would tie into remembering who we are. Because right now we don't know who we are.
We need to know who we are in order to not be manipulated, because others' perception of us will be what tugs us to one way or another, yes?
Yep.
But our perception to others is not who we are. It's our knowledge of who we are, what have we done, and the experiences and the people we've met. What comes to... Like, imagine in this case, I'm using myself as an example because people don't tend to like me. So, imagine if I were to think of myself what other people think who I am. I would be a puppet. And very much, very, very miserable, to be honest, but I would be a puppet, really. And this is a theme. This is a big theme in our society, and modern society, especially with the era of communication and social network, in which we are more concerned about getting likes for something we share and getting the approval of people we don't know, than spending time with the people around us and caring about those who actually matter. It doesn't matter, like let's say you and I, we are friends. I think we can say we're friends. It's in the distance, so, but it's not like you're someone that I share a post on X, for example, and people come around complain about this post. I will care, for example, if you come to the post and say I disagree with this, or maybe this was unfortunate to say, because it's your opinion what I care for, not the opinion of people I actually don't know of, you know? But our society is more concerned about getting the social approval and the applause of people we don't know than those that actually really matter. In our lives. And this is very much the story of the Warrior of Light, because the Warrior of Light is the hero of modern Etheris. It's all praises, it's all accolades, it's all like, oh, you saved the star, you have a duty to the star, you're the savior of the star. And, but what about what the Warrior of Light really wants? Which was a question actually posed in Heaven's Word by Emmerich, but we never got to answer that. And I don't think the Warrior of Light actually knew what they wanted back then.
I mean, even now they don't know. They have an inkling maybe, but they still don't know.
Not aware yet.
And actually, that one scene I was talking about with the blindfold, you may have already skipped that.
Oh, curses.
But when I replay the MSQ in German, I can actually stream it for you.
Okay.
Either in voice or maybe actually set up my stream.
Okay.
To get that done.
Okay, we spent quite a lot of time here, so...
As per usual.
As per usual. Just the fact that we can spend so much time thinking about themes just by the imagery of this, and it led us to the tangent. How can people say that Dawn Trail is badly written? Like, what the hell, mate? What the hell, mate? But that's the problem. That people are playing this and they're not thinking of Hades. So far that I have seen, of course. I haven't checked people's reactions to this patch, but I've learned to not, harbor much hope for people understanding.
Me neither.
Things.
Like, it 100% not on this level, but also in general, I just...
What? Oh. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes the model disappears when you are too close.
Okay.
But, I really question how much the player base actually understands what's going on in the story.
This is basically, she basically had this as a crown. And it's making me think of the theme that Yoshipi said. What does the crown symbolize? At this point, crown has been so far just control. Power over other people. But that's because the people who are handling these crowns are the ones really in power. Thus, that even though we don't see them. Okay.
But in MSQ, like when I was replaying, I don't know when I had that thought, either here or a bit later. There is a movie called Transcendence, where basically the character of Johnny Depp becomes an AI and infiltrates the internet. And the only way to actually deal with him is to shut down electricity and the internet.
Well, may well be where we're headed. We have to shut down the world entirely. Just like we did with Living Memory. Selenia's kind was she could be stern, a pillar of strength when I ascended the throne, told. I fucking mentioned pillars and now we keep... Not only did she protect me, she also buoyed my spirit whenever it threatened to buckle under the pressures of my station. By preserving her memory and honor, we've done more than for me than you could know. Thank you, Shirin. Okay. Okay, this fucking thing. This is one of these moments in which I'm like, okay, it's time for see what things rub me the wrong way about this thing, which are many. Okay, now we're starting with this. This is not what Calix said. Fuck you. This is not what Calix said. Do you realize how the game's trying to fuck us with fuck our minds over?
I actually have not read them yet. Those entries.
Okay, let me go then.
I may actually do the same. Like when I read them, I will read them in English,
Yeah.
take a screenshot, and then go directly into German.
Yeah, I tried to do that with other entries. The Stormstar is the name given to the great conflict that raged in the Ninth. Persex stood out. Some 150 years ago. Unless there's time fuckery ahead, of course. It could be. Imagine that. Imagine there's the paradox effect from 13.2 at play, and the calamity of lightning from the 12th is bleeding into the Ninth. It could be. At this point, I believe it. I would believe that. Engulfing the kingdom of Alexandria, another major powers of its age. Of the age, it brought the entire world to the brink of destruction. The impetus from the storm surge was an anomalous shift in the star's ether, which saw lightning energy grow even more abundant. See, this is describing the calamity of lightning, but there we go into the net. Like, fuck you. Like, this... anyone who knows the lore should spot the... Okay. And then all the references to number 12 around Alexandria. And also, another thing, who is to say that Calix didn't lie to us? The people of the Ninth, why do I have to believe you? You know?
That as well. Or he was just telling a half-truth to make himself be plausible. Because that's on the superficial level. The plausible and
aside from that, but it's like, if there's one thing that Dontrell is teaching us, don't trust what you're being told. So the whole thing about there's no debate, I'm like, no, there's still debate. Because if we're dealing with stuff that it's not true, then do you know, it's like this whole thing about, I think people are kind of afraid, if for lack of a better word, of putting into question everything MSQ so far has been leading us to, right? What we believe is actually true and certain.
No. They are not afraid. They don't know they have to do that.
For the most part, but what I mean, whenever I brought this up to other people in general, there's this reticence to believe that.
Yeah, there's also the belief that everything information-wise is a straight line, a continuation, a correction. Everything's a retcon.
That's not how it works.
I know.
Especially after going back to content from 2.0 to fucking 0.0, and then patches in A Realm Reborn that have these meanings hidden in lyrics and quest titles and literature references, and all of it makes me it boggles my mind to think that all this time they may have been building a story built on a fucking lie to drop the bomb at the right moment. For years. Imagine 10 years of creating a game only to drop the bomb that all of it is fake.
That is a concept I can see them doing. And that is such a Final Fantasy thing to do. That is, I think, the most Final Fantasy thing they could do.
I mean, a part of myself is like, would they go that far? Would they actually have they actually been planning this structure ever since that moment? And a part of me is reticent because it's such a mind-boggling thing to do. But then again, we're talking Square Enix. And you know what I think about the opinion of they wouldn't do this, they wouldn't do that, they didn't think this deep. You know my opinion on that. Okay, let's continue because if not, I'm going to be here forever. This gave her to multi-nurse rainy season and lengthened with every passing year, causing crops and life to die together for want of sunlight. As desperation drove the people to search for a solution, a singular ore was discovered that had apparently manifested thank you for the as a result of the athletic imbalance led to dot electrope. This ore had the ability to absorb and contain lightning, not just lightning, okay? And by etching arcane circuits upon it, a technique derived from the knowledge of the Milala people, it could convert the stored energy into any other element. With this development, electro became a miraculous material that found use and contact because the thing though, the Milala traveled, let's say for now, between dimensions.
Yes.
I actually believe it's actually through time and space, but time as well. This is 13-2. It's just we have the fucking historic cracks in Zoral Jezrael. So at this moment, history is tangled as it is. Like the Eternal Calamity era is already bad as it is, but if this happened back in the age of Eternal Frost because of the Grail, there is no normal continuation in the timeline, and anything could just be branching timelines. It's a fucking mess. That's what it is. Time fuckery, basically. Yeah. Okay. I spot this something. Those soldiers have electrope as a scarce resource. Seeking to secure sufficient reserves, nations fought over the precious ore, with sporadic skirmishes inevitably escalating into open war. Predictably, a electrope came to be employed on the battlefield. And in an act of madness, the nation of Limblum deployed Doomsday weapon that devastated the stars of the... Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck this codex!
Not fuck this codex. It's put into question whose perspective this is from. Because this...
That's a phenomenal point. This is because that's the version that quote-unquote preservation
we are being told.
Spread.
Exactly. Like, who is writing this?
Do you think they would have had us, Sphene, mention that it was Alexandria who initiated the whole thing? And then actually read this and be like, oh, but the codex is the core. Fuck! No! No!
Or like Encyclopedia Eosia. Like, they take something written that is given from the devs as gospel. But even then, the game is given by the devs. So we have...
You could argue that they're playing Ultima. That's...
Yeah. They can very well be.
I mean, in terms of roleplay, kudos to that, if they're actually doing that. Okay, so... This bullshit, okay. Those are the persisters to run a disaster qualifying number calamity. So it was at the storm surge, which had already come with no nation the victor. The king of Alexandria alone barely escaped annihilation and afterwards was flooded with refugees from nearby lands. Okay, so this means that by extension, if we have the contradicting information, in an act of madness, they shall implement the... You have played 9, right?
Yes.
Who was the nation in 9 who actually unleashed the Eidolons on Lindblom, Burmecia, and Clera?
It was Alexandria.
That's...
But not under Queen Sphene.
No, it was Bran.
It was Queen Bran.
Yeah, Bran.
But
That's
yes, same thing.
Right, so this means that if we're given this, that we know... Well, no, we... At this point I would say we know it's bullshit. And we go this. Everything in this entry is questionable. I suppose, of course, there's going to be aspects of it is going to be the truth. But based on the truth, rather, I would say, but most of it is called into question. Which is, again, Hildebrand and Walker questline. And the Charlotteans, by the way.
Hmm.
Okay, let's see. Everkeep. Dominating the skies above this enclosed portion of Yesulani, this colossal 12-level tower rises from the hearth of Heritage Fan. When the now he's hammering this, fuck you. When the balance of ether collapsed in the ninth, parsecs to that, only the kingdom of Alexandria was fortunate enough to survive the calamity. Nevertheless, it suffered tremendous devastation, with great swaths of its territory submerged by endless rains. Against this dire backdrop, a collective of scientists known as Preservation announced a plan to build a great tower over the royal palace, within which survivors might take shelter from the rising waters. Okay. This is
A flood within a flood.
This is, oh god, this is the flood again. This is Newcraft and the Ark and Charlian again.
Like, imagine actually if Preservation is Charlian from a different shard. I mean, we have been talking about it, but in a more literal way, I mean.
We've discussed this whole thing. That's the thing.
I know.
And rising waters, considering Amarot is flooded. It's also like a promise of, you're going to survive here in the Sand of the Theris and all that. You're going to go like Hydaelyn. Fuck. This is infuriating me. It's like, but in a good sense, you know. I have to give the devs the credit for putting this in a way that it's clearly trying to manipulate me, and I see that attempt at manipulating me, and I'm getting annoyed at it. Okay. It's a project but an expensive use elector put was thought impossible became possible. Final Fantasy 13 themes. Themes, sorry. The following centuries, additional elements were added to the structure, with sectors for primary and secondary industries constructed based on residential areas to execute to its present form, with all the facilities needed not only for people to survive but to thrive. Eventually, life within Everkeep became so advanced that the populace could enjoy indulgences like an amusement park, which was open in the uppermost level.
What?
Not... So, one thing. Actually, two things. More than once, the game developers had referred to Final Fantasy 14 as the amusement park of Final Fantasy 13. Sorry, of Final Fantasy. So, using that in reference to Everkeep, if we're likening Everkeep to Sand of the Theris, well, it's interesting. And also, we're using Shadowbringer's themes from Eden and from the Nier raids in Nier Automata, there is a big theme about an amusement park. So, which is basically, well, if you want to play Nier Automata, I'm not going to spoil you. It's a great game. You should play it. But
yeah, spoilers, I don't mind. I will play the games, but I don't mind the spoilers.
Well, it's basically
because there's a lot of replayability.
Well, it's basically, long story short, the machine life forms found this amusement park built by the humans very long time ago. They're trying to replicate and understand what it was used for, and trying to replicate the amusement and the rides and the enjoyment of all of it. So because I think that Automata is exploring machines trying to embrace what humanity meant, both for the androids and for the machine life forms that invaded the planet because of the they were built by the aliens. That, anyways, it's a bit like a mess, but anyways. So it was open on the uppermost level. Later, however, when the method for recreating the departure from preserved memories was perfected, the park was renamed Living Memory, and repurposed as a home for the endless. Okay, this will now remain in the ninth. Press X to doubt. When interdimensional fusion was employed to join Alexandria to the source. Okay. Right. So if I needed more, and
I was about to say we got 2 entries.
this is amusing though. A collective of scientists known as preservation, but they're mentioning no shit about how fucked up what they're doing. It's almost like presenting. Is it me or is it presenting preservation as a good thing, or is it just me seeing?
It is written neutrally, but because we know it's bad, it seems kind of good the way it's written there. If that makes sense.
Of course, it's not glorifying them, because it would be too obvious that someone has biases. But, you know, compare how the Codex treats any entry regarding the Asians. Well.
Yeah, exactly.
What do I do at this point?
Oh, yeah.
What do I do at this point? I can just stare at the camera, and I don't have any camera. At this point, I don't know if there's going to be a moment in which I've entirely lost the ability to scream. Also, Sphene stands in silence. Thank you for the silence mentioned there.
Selenia, it pains me to think that you're gone too.
Aha! Oh, we found you at last.
Oh. It took you a long while we were rambling here. Catman, leave. I don't want you here.
I was quite worried when you suddenly disappeared. What in the world happened?
Then preservation's objective is indeed what Calyx claimed. But for them to know about the source and the shards, and to refer to theirs as the ninth, that raises some questions.
Thank you, Kryl. Not everyone's stupid here.
Indeed. But for now, I'm just glad the two of you are safe.
Well, I said that, but I don't know if she's actually going to go down the path I expect her to go, if it makes sense.
Oh, right. While we were scouring the castle for you, we came upon a room that looked like a library.
Books? Gimme.
By by learning about the Alexandria of old, we may gain valuable insights into preservation. Might we take a number of books?
Are you going to make me wait until next patch to read the books?
So books still remain. Of course. You are welcome to any that may be of use.
You're too silent over there.
If you don't mind, could we take a look around here first? I'm especially curious about the area over by the throne.
Yeah, like me. But, we spent like an hour in that place.
This tiara, it was hers, the Endless Fiend's. What's it doing here?
It's a type of regulator, I believe. It contains the data of the Endless Fiend's memories. Calyx likely used it to create the simulant. Which means that as long as the tiara is in our keeping, we shouldn't need to deal with any more simulants.
Press X to doubt.
Strange that he would abandon it, though. Perhaps because the simulant already played her role, like she said. Or Calyx made a copy of the memories. In any case, not much information of import appears to remain on this terminal. But I'll make it so we can access it remotely from the back room.
This contains the memories of another me. A tale of her journey as Queen of Alexandria.
Okay, I'm going to make a note on that. Because the phrasing is, well...
Might I hold on to this tiara? You may examine it whenever you wish, of course.
I don't know if that's a good idea, but okay.
It would be for the best, I think. Does that work for you, Shale?
No objections from me. All right, I'm finished. Let's head to the library, and then back outside.
Can I quickly say, what do you think of this scene?
As a whole?
Yes.
Farewell, Selenia.
Well, my immediate thought when it's about the tiara, it's making me think of course this is just theory at this point, but going to the 8th Emerald Calamity timeline, or whatever timeline it is, at this point I just... at some point, because again I mentioned if we're going to meet the alternate version of Hades, I don't think he's going to go get that version of him is going to get out alive of that timeline, you know. But it's the whole thing about this is their memories and the journey of another version of Hades, and we have to bring them to our Hades. Yes, I think that's something that we can liken it to. That what Sphene was here thinking of AI Sphene. But I mean, because again, you could say that these are the themes of Asem, but Hades is Asem too, so it's intertwining. At this point, I just don't bother, you know.
I'm saying this because in this scene, I became highly suspicious of Shale.
Oh.
the way she just walked past the crown to the terminal, in combination with her being very lifeless sounding, same as the Catman. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why?
If there's one thing,
like, there is.
I mean, if there's one
there
thing,
is a difference. There is a difference, in my opinion, between sounding quiet and sounding lifeless.
You know, one thing that I would say, I would argue that supports your point. I mean, I haven't paused to think much on Shale, but now that you mention that, I realize that her eyes are like this colorless color, like white, sort of, yes? Which is very much the same eye color of Calyx. So I wonder if there's something related to that. And there's the thing about emotionlessness. That's a bit of a mouthful.
She actually sounds a lot like him, to be honest.
You know one thing.
Like Calyx.
You know one thing.
The way they are talking.
Yeah, but I was running the other day the weekly Juno, right? And we get to the archangels, and there's the whole thing about, this is from 11, of course, but there's the whole thing about the flaws, the sins of each race of Vanadil, yes. And there's the whole thing about this whole thing about every flaw that's going to ruin you in one way or another. And I was pondering this question of, is this some sort of plan, this whole shit show? There's some sort of really twisted and overcomplicated plan from Ultima. Because this is basically a theme Ultima has going on in 16. There's a big part of it in Line Returns in 13. About emotions being that thing that is this some plan to lead to the conclusion that the source of all of our problems is having emotions? So it's like, oh, we're going to take the bad emotions from you, so you're not going to suffer anymore. Or rather, the quote-unquote negative emotions, if it makes sense, because that's more or less what the archangels represent, yes? Negative emotions. But so that way you will only have happiness and bliss and all that shit. But you can't have, but emotion doesn't work like that. You can't have positive emotions without the negative emotions. That it just doesn't work. You can't take one thing from the other one. So if this is just like an excuse to, oh look, emotions are actually weighing you down, and I don't.
It's the whole thing about reason and resolve. We went from one extreme to the other.
Yes and no. Sphinx is preservation, and Sphinx, the fake Sphinx and Calyx are presenting themselves as reason, but there is no reason in this. No real reason, rather.
I mean, yeah, I'm not talking about what we know about them, but the way they symbolize things.
Ah, yeah. Well, in that aspect, yeah, but. And you know, here's the thing again. The problem here is that if we're fighting an enemy that wants to nip in the bud, in a sense, emotions. Because if there's one thing that actually spurs us to get better, is experiencing negative emotions, because we grow from them and we grow wiser, and we learn from these things. They say ignorance is bliss for a very good reason, because when you're in bliss, when you're having this feeling of everything's alright, you don't feel the need to do anything. You're just enjoying that, But it's when something goes wrong, when you have this anxiety, this sorrow, this curiosity, whatever, that you need to do something because something has gone wrong in your life, or you have just curiosity because you feel like this existential anxiety, you want to learn more because you feel like empty, and it's like this whole thing. It's what spurs you to grow and learn and become better. But if you wanted people to not grow beyond that, you would keep them from feeling sorrow and negative emotions that actually spur them to grow better. But this whole thing could be just a really, really twisted way of doing that, because we know that there's already connections between Hydaelyn and the 12 and Ultima, yes? So...
Actually, what you said, with those emotions allowing us to basically transcend, and therefore, in order to stifle our growth, they are being removed. It's the LB3. That's Dynamis.
Well, yeah, but tying emotions to Dynamis is like a bit...
It's a bit iffy, but it's that...
I mean, we know a Dynamis is affected
when the fight
by
goes
emotions,
long enough.
We know a Dynamis is affected by emotion, but... How exactly? Does it react to prayer and wishes? This is because that's how Aurasight works, first of all, but... Then again, there's the distinction already in tactics between Aurasight and the prayers and wishes for one's sake, for the selfish gain in any way or sense, and the prayers and wishes spurred by love. So again, this is very much the theme of love. So if the great difference is love, and that's what actually can work miracles, which sounds a bit cliche perhaps, but it's nonetheless a truth, and that's what actually can create the difference. And erasing emotions basically leads to the death of love, because if you kill the negative emotions, you can't have love. In like people think of love like all this like positivity, but it's not. Love is not it's not all positivity, like at all. But I'm thinking basically because but then again, the whole thing about Hydaelyn and Vena and all that stuff, the more I think on the argument is more bullshit, Aside from the fact that the second part of that vision in Endwalker is actually not what happened in truth. So the whole argument falls apart on itself, But then again, in order to know the truth about these days after the summoning of Zodiark and the summoning of Hydaelyn, we would have to ask someone who actually remembers that.
Everything's right there in front of us. just I'm literally smiling, just everything's coming full force.
But
to think this is 7.2.
I haven't finished this patch. I'm already dreading 7.3.
I mean, that's the point.
Well, dreading not in the bad sense, but you understand.
I know, more like excited. But also very like, oh my god.
Yeah, the thing you mentioned to me, we are fucked. So,
We are so fucked.
Which is a conclusion we drew like maybe 3-4 days ago in one conversation.
Oh, even before.
Yeah, but
even before.
But more recently. Anyways, let's continue because otherwise
Yeah.
I'm going to be here all night. Which I'm well capable of, to be honest, rambling and rambling.
I did drink 2 coffees today, so I can stay up later.
I mean, it's patch day. If you don't stay up late on patch day... Can I fucking just... No. There you go.
And ever since that thought of Shale being sus, like she's been here all along. She has analyzed the earring, which has not been mentioned yet. She's analyzing with Gululja the entries of his mother. So I'm like, she knows all of that. Therefore can relay all of that to
Well, at this point, we're following closely the advice from Hildebrand's questline note. Trust no one.
Trust no one. Trust only in yourself.
And in the other no one.
Yes, I mean that's basically yourself without it being yourself, but.
I love these themes of intertwining because it's lining and hope all the way. It's so... These are themes that I've studied for 10 years. Over 10 years. Calix seems to consider the reflection not but feels to be harvested from his endless. I do not make habit of dismissing the assertions of it out of hand, but I cannot abide such callous disregard for life. Your point is life, but okay. Maybe it's just me high on my fumes again, but the thing about disregard for life, and it's like, this is the problem. All of us are, I mean, of course we have to celebrate life, you know, but that's not the point. We're dealing with the whole thing about erasing death. Though I'm not sure if this is a conclusion they have yet come to terms with. Because so far the mindset has been life. I'm not even sure if they actually consider preservation's attempt at endless life a bad thing. Maybe they have issues with the means, but not the concept of endless life. So far, but you know?
Here's the thing. They focus more on life than the actual death. Like, they give more value to life than it on itself has.
I mean, life has value, but life is nothing without death. But it doesn't seem to have
It's the counterbalance, yes.
It doesn't seem to have clicked yet for that. The interference made it impossible to locate you and prevented living pearl transmissions besides. Apologies that you couldn't be there for the critical moment, but as usual, you found a way to handle matters. Yes, thanks to Hades, not to you. Because of the... Yeah. It's one of these things I'm like, yeah, no thanks to you. I'm glad everyone's safe. Thank you, Gulja. The Endless Fiend was just a projected image outside living memory, so he was a bit surprised to see an actual item that belonged to her. On the way back, I asked Shale why the tiara may have been in the throne room. She believed that it was being used to record the Fiend's actions. There's no way to know whether or not it was with her knowledge. But it can't be used for questionable ends anymore, so we can at least take comfort in that. That's fair. Based on the geographic data I gathered, it seems the intersection contained the castle as a residential area during the early stages of Everkeep's construction. The other section was then added when they expanded the structure into its present-day shape. I expect the system to dry the earth was... What?
I
mean, in this context, I understand the purpose, but that line drying the earth? Fuck! Okay, maybe I'm just, again, high on fumes, but... was installed so they could build stable foundation and submerged land. The Simulant gained the impression that she wouldn't be back, but I suppose only time will tell. And at present we have no further leads on Calyx. For now, perhaps you could take a moment to contact our friends. We'll be caught up to each other on recent developments, and I'm certain everyone would appreciate hearing from you. Stop flattering me, I don't like it. What?!
I read that word and I knew. Okay, I think we lost Meowth. Just for the record. Because I know this is gonna be uploaded, so I'm gapping, bridging the gaps.
So here's the thing though. My god. My brain, okay. Here's the thing. They've been talking about books. It would be so easy to say book in this line, yes?
Mm-hmm.
They're using grimoire.
I know. A specific one, even.
Hello, Tactics Advance, my old friend! If Ayumi he's not freaking out with this when he reads this line, I'm going to be really highly questioning him. Because I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Right, this is more or less like, yeah. Okay, note to cut from that. Okay. It irks me to think we were being led on by Calix, but I'll do my best to find clues of his passage. Most of the tomes found were dilapidated from age, but some are thankfully still legible. You stole that and Alice and Arenville should all be somewhere behind the dome. Pray to the honors and anything of that you like. Come to think of it, I have no idea what Arenville's up to. You lost track of your boyfriend. I'll take a look at the preservation terminal. Hopefully there's a bit something useful. Okay. Fuck.
You talk to Orpo.
Oh, okay. Anyways, right now, I'm torn between Alfino and Arenville. I'm going to give Arenville the call because I think he's the most... I may be wrong, but I think he's the most... you know, the one that right now more trustful, sorry. Let's go first with Arenville. Sharon, this is a surprise. I screwed Lamar got
Gotta get the obvious out of the way, right?
I need to frame this line. This is peak Hades, mate. Okay, I'm fine. It's just like I'm going to. I love that it was my mental process. I'm going to call Arenville because he's the most trustful one, and which I didn't say out loud was because he's a stand-in for young Hades. I call him, and he hits me with this like in the face with like. Okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah. Stop grinning over there at my expense. I see. Knowing you, I expect you're already looking forward to next stop. To know what we're doing. This is phenomenal though, because if this is, you know, like the first insight we've got into the dynamics of Azim and Hades, I'm so looking forward to having that on full play, you know? Because it is great, and I miss Hades' snark, to be honest. Okay. I'm in the outskirts at the moment. I've been helping the people with their work and talking to those I meet to gauge their sentiment. It's been uneventful for the most part, but there was one notable development. Following recent events, some here stopped wearing rolators. This has led to a disparity in what people remember about the Queen's death and the occasional episode of confusion. I'll be sure to let you know if there are any other changes. Okay, that's good. Going to Alfie. Alfie! Hi, boy. Ah, excellent timing, my friend. I had a mind to call you myself to see how you were faring. Thank you, Alfie. Calix? Well, something was obviously afoot. I couldn't have imagined that such an individual would be involved. 'Tis well that you were able to prevent the simulant from some further uncertainty. That said, her absence may have consequences. The people of Alexandria still have great trust in Sphene. 'Tis plain in the way they speak of her even now, and in how the simulant was able to win them over. When they notice she has ceased to appear again, rumor and worry will spread. We must be mindful of any pronounced shift in mood of the populace. But forgive me, it's been battle after battle for you, hasn't it? We can handle ourselves for now, so pray for step while you can and recover your strength. Thank you, Alfie. Okay, then I'll say next. Yes, hello, Shimin. For you to call out of the blue, is something wrong? What? You went all the way to the bottom of Everkeep and you didn't think to ask me to come? I would have preferred you to come instead of the Catman! I'm mad about that, Alice. Yeah, I'm mad too! But I suppose I've been fairly busy myself. Oh yeah, with Porky. I'm pleased to say that we've received permission to begin administering the cure for living sickness to citizens. I'm actually due to visit a boy named Mills shortly to see how he's responding to his treatment. You've met him before with Lamati, I believe. The two of you should attend as well if you have time. Okay, I don't really want to talk with Gestalt a bit, anyway. If it isn't Shirin, is something the matter? So preservation is behind the recent intrigue. It doesn't surprise me. I'm glad to hear you are none the worse for your trials, though. As for myself, I just concluded a meeting with Gosan. Not exactly the best person you could go a meeting with, but okay, fine. Considering, you know, last patch, but... I told him about the cure for living sickness and we formed a tentative plan to treat all those who are stricken. I'm not otherwise unoccupied, so I shall take a look around the government sector to see if odds meet. And if this Calix is obsessed with the key, then I will begin studying it in earnest as well. We should be the ones studying it, not you, but okay, fine. Then again, in a sense, I will say good luck. Because if you don't have the thing we have, I don't think you're going to do much. If it makes sense. Are you grinning again? Are you laughing at me again?
I just yawned.
Okay. Being able to contact people so far away so easily can do wonders for your peace of mind. Link pearls really are convenient things. I don't like the fact that you're bringing this up. Especially considering what Delion said in the Hildebrand Endwalker questline about Charlotte and listening on Link pearls, if it makes sense.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
And she already forgot that they didn't work when they got teleported away.
True. What did the others have to say, if I may ask? They finished treating Milos. Then we have to go and visit him. Would you mind if I accompanied you? I understand he's afflicted with self-same condition as I was, and I cannot help but worry for him. Of course, we don't mind at all. In the meantime, I also take myself on Solution 9 and see how things are. I share Alfina's concern about the Queen's absence, and even setting that aside, the situation is not like to resolve itself while becoming endless remains an option. I have been meaning to visit some shops, so I shall join Krile. While everyone's out and about, I'll try to pick up Calix's trail. I'll see if I can dig up some information about the key for Yeshtal as well. I don't really want any of you looking into that, but okay. I'll help you. It seems we all have two things to do. Still, there's no telling what else Calyx may have planned, so please be careful, everyone. Right, let's go to Milos' apartment. It's residential radius 914, if I remember correctly. Lamati told me all about Milos. She said he was around my age, but he couldn't leave his bed. I'd like to go meet him next time. Maybe we can be friends. Calyx is more clever than anyone has any right to be. Well, let's sniff him out somehow. Just leave it to me. Okay, if you say so. At this point, it's like, well, press X to doubt everything. Oh, okay. I understand my endless self is the Milos often. I will keep quiet so as to not draw suspicion. There you are. Next time you know something's in the offing, you had better remember to call me. Look, Milos sitting up. I've seen the treatment before, but so I knew it would work, but it's still so amazing. Alessandra stole on miracle workers. It's so good to see you again. I'd like to know that you and Alice are friends. She's been very kind to us. Hello, you came before with Queen's Fiend. I'm glad you came again. I believe he'll be fine now, but just for good measure, I'll administer a healing spell.
I once hoped that Milos at least might be made an endless. Then he wouldn't need to suffer anymore. You feel different now? Thanks to Alizé, Milos is on the road to recovery. He can grow up and live a normal life. And I want to be there with him every step of the way. To grow old with him as his mother and not something else.
Good, good.
That should do it. You're doing well, I'm glad to say.
Thank you, Alizé.
You're welcome, Milos. Now, you'll feel breathless for a little while still, but don't fret. It'll get easier to speak with time. That said, we can't rule out the possibility of a relapse. As a precaution, I would keep him away from lightning-infused objects.
Is it just me, or I really feel the same lack of energy from all the science?
More energy from Cryer and Alizé. But in general, it's very subdued.
I'm noticing perhaps because Alizé is very much, usually is one of the most energetic of them.
Lightning. Does that include regulators?
It does. I understand if it's difficult for you to part with something that you've worn for so long, though, so it's entirely up to you.
No. For Milos' sake, I will do it. And if the environment here isn't good for him, I must consider moving outside the dome.
You two would be more than welcome in Tulihiola.
This was one of the things where I screamed, because I've been calling that since 7.0. Those afflicted with Levin sickness, they need to get the fuck out of the dome.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I think Isadora's voice actor is the same as Jill in Final Fantasy 16. She sounds familiar.
That I don't know.
I'm not
but
sure.
Either the child or different NPCs sounded a bit like Meteon.
It's very assuring to hear that. If you don't mind, could you tell me about the process?
I'm happy. I can talk again.
Yes, it's Milos. You hear him?
I'm happy I can talk again. It's the whole thing about silence again. Again, could be me, high on my fumes as usual, but...
Before, I couldn't even thank my mother for caring for me.
But yeah, I
Now
think
we
it's...
can
it's
talk lots.
yeah, it's Meteor's.
It's
I can
it
tell
is
her
her.
that I'm happy. That I like it when she strokes my hair.
Your mother is happy to talk to you as well, I'm sure.
Queen's Fiend always cheered me up. Always said that she would cure me. Today, I'll practice walking with Mother. And next time, I'll go and visit you.
Thank you for explaining everything.
We'll come again to check on you. So if you have any other questions, just let me know. Right. Let's get going, shall we?
Please come back soon. You too, miss.
It's good to see Milos doing so well.
The Endless Me gave him the strength to hang on, and she didn't rely on any special power to do so.
She wanted her people to be happy. Even though we had to fight, her love for them was very real. And it reached Milos.
I wish to be there to watch him grow as well. To make my way beside the people of Alexandria. In the name of his evolution, Calyx has wrought much unease and misery, and I cannot condone his path. No, I shall forge ahead on a path of my own. One that honors the memory of my other self.
They may be saying something here.
I mean, it's...
Just maybe.
The forge ahead is basically already pointing towards continuing the brand from the threats from Endwalker. Like, this is Footfalls, basically. But, and then again, you have to read the lyrics of Footfalls and understand what it's talking about, right? Which is... Footfalls is technically the first duet between the voices of Asem, the Warrior of Light, and Hades. So, there's that. But here it can mean for the Warrior of Light to honor the memory of Asem themselves, but can also mean honoring the memory of Hades as, well, two aspects of Asem and all that. This line is very likely more than one meaning, if it and you know, and the most important part here is on a path of my own.
And that is coming from the awakened Asem.
Yeah, but
Path of my own. Maybe after everything is done, as the only, I don't want to say unsundered because he is sundered, but as the only one left who remembers the path of his own.
well, not counting the whole, alternate realities, and then the possibility of, I think it's a real possibility to get Hades out of there, I mean, we have the Oracite. Oracite can do that, but yeah. As I treated meals with Angelo, I couldn't help but think of Gabo and Halric. I wonder how they've been. Yeah, we'll go back to Shadowbringer themes. Yeah, I wish the Endless Fiend could have been here to see Milos. Oh, okay. That's a choice of that's a choice of shot. That's a choice. Especially considering the statue of... Anyways.
I mean, it is the statue in living memory, but the fact there is something in the background, hidden, veiled in black, basically.
But behind Calix is basically telling you that this is something behind this. And then, of course, there's this grey color scheme, which it's only making me think of where the themes of 8.0 seem to be pointing. You know, the night world, the world shrouded in darkness and light, reserved just for a few. Well, for a few, in a sense, but. Okay, let's see. Milos is a kind and brave boy. It did me well to see him. One day, I hope that I can speak with him about my other self. Come, let's return to the back room, and on the way, let's pick up treats for our friends. A little gift to show our appreciation for their hard work. And still, we haven't got anything about the fucking Grail. Another fucking patch with information on the okay.
Citizens of Alexandria, please be advised. The distribution of neo-regulators has concluded.
Right.
We ask that all recipients equip their regulators and promptly complete device registration. The evolution of our kind is at hand. Together we shall rise above death and bask in the infinite possibilities of eternal life.
What else can I say at this point? I'm going to, of course, going to fucking take this shot.
What is this?
Evolution? What evolution?
Those with neo-regulators will become endless, apparently.
You mean there's no more? Well, don't you feel lucky?
Don't look at me like that. Queen's Fiend said there were only so many.
Oh, this is exactly what I feared, mate! Well, feared. Expecting to happen.
I haven't registered mine yet. The more I thought about it, the more unsure I felt about becoming an Endless.
Well, I registered right away. Anything to stop those terrible nightmares of being killed by mechanical soldiers.
Ultimately, what you think is immaterial. For the seeds we've sown have already quickened.
And it's a seed of thought, which is exactly what Ultima does. Fuck!
The people have glimpsed hope in transcending death, and they can ill turn away from it. I see. The terror of their first encounter with death still lingers in their hearts. Having previously been spared even the idea of it, they know not how to handle the emotions. I'm suffering.
I know.
And you're enjoying it, I know!
Oh, I've been waiting for you to get here. So, yes.
Here, this particular line, or whatever shit happens afterwards.
Whatever happens.
Okay, but this line alone is enough for me to be like... I'm about to go right into the ATS scope and grab Hades' soul by the scruffy nitso. I know I can't, but I want to. Because spared even the idea of death. This is about the complete erasure of death, not just as a thing, but as a concept. And the one who embodies that concept is, well, you know.
The funeral was meant to give everyone the chance to come to terms with loss, to grieve and move forward together.
Yeah, well.
But everyone who was wearing a regulator had their memories of that moment erased. And to see those oblivious, happy souls, those who remembered must have wondered if it might not be better to be like them. To go back to a time when death didn't exist.
I'm biting my fist right now.
I know.
The biting my fist too hard to... Ugh.
And now they've been presented with the chance to do just that by becoming an Endless. It's not hard to see why they would consider it.
If this fear of death continues to spread among the people, what will become of Alexandria?
Is seriously no one considering the part of erasing death is a bad thing, really?
I mean, here's the thing, everyone, like, death is inevitable, basically. And everyone outside of the dome, basically, believes that. And therefore has a different approach to things. But it's just... very... They are so hung up with like endless and eternity.
You know what's
actually...
fucked up though?
What?
This is happening right now here, contained in the fucking dome of Alexandria. But imagine the circumstances if this is just hypotheticals. But imagine someone gets from, because now they can travel inside and see what's going on. Imagine they get visitors from all outside the Theris, go in there, see, oh, these people can have developed a technology in which they are eternal, they can't die, death is not longer a thing. How many people think they want the same?
Even how the value of life is given by death, basically. Because they still see the value, they think erasing death is a good thing, but over time that logic becomes so flawed, because then you're literally, like, first of all, immortal, or like an endless, however you want to see it.
And at this point,
but
endless, but it could be something else, really.
Yeah, like whatever it would be. But then also you then have so much time that you can procrastinate a lot. And therefore it also always becomes, hey, I can do that tomorrow. I'm fine, I can do that tomorrow. And then you become very stagnant. Very stagnant. So maybe that's why light is associated with time.
Was this really the aim with the Sundering? Not just the whole making humanity less resistant to dynamis, but forcing them into a situation in which they come to fear death. And all that bullshit about moving forward and learning to accept grief and shit. It's all one more bullshit quote-unquote justification.
When the whole planet is against you. Like it could very well be another thing to bring Hades to his knee. Make him yield.
Well, good luck with that, but aside from the man's dignity and pride, which is not small, but I mean, I'm right now thinking, it doesn't help that this fucking music is playing, but the ancients didn't fear death.
Nope.
They were willing to sacrifice themselves for the sake of the other half. They were willing to sacrifice themselves and their own life for the sake of restoring their world to a state in which they could nurture life again. And then there's the controversial part that we discussed, and we specifically went back to Shadowbringer's dialogue in different languages to make sure that the shade of Ithlodeus, that is Hades' proxy, was referring to life force and not souls. Because that's two very different things. We've been drilled the whole thing about Zodiark, the offerings to Zodiark being trading the souls of the newly born for the souls of the ones trapped inside Zodiark first. We're talking 2/3 of the population stuck inside the primal, so they can't go back to the cycle of rebirth, of death, of life and rebirth, and all that. Second, the specification from Ithlodeus' shade, again, Hades' proxy, is life force. And we know from this whole thing in Dawntrail that life force is a different thing from souls. So all that argument about we couldn't let them sacrifice the souls of the newly born for the sake of the souls of the people of the past, and it's like no.
It's not been said. Therefore.
I really want to ask Hades the right questions now.
Oh, I bet we will. We will eventually. Because how else would they tie that together?
No, at this point, this is related to Hades. Like, there's no other way around. How can you explain another way around this whole thing? I don't know. Maybe it requires a more enlightened brain than mine. But right now, I don't see any other way. Like, the whole thing about reflections and of course my opinion about this whole thing being timelines, but the whole thing about reflection is so swept under the rug. Like, this is not what's relevant here. What's relevant here is the whole thing about death. We're going to the shards. We already did that in fucking Shadowbringers. I mean, of course I can. There's still room for me to eat crow, but we always have to leave that room because I'm definitely not infallible. But
I mean, technically, if we... Is it voiced again?
The gifts for our friends will have to wait. We should return to the back room at once.
Finish, I can. What were you saying?
Technically, the dome is... You remember how the interdimensional fusion happened?
Mm-hmm.
Technically, we are in a different shard.
I mean,
living memories somewhere else. So, technically, we did visit another shard. Which one it is just unknown.
That's a whole different story. And honestly, it's the whole thing about it, that's not important. It doesn't matter.
I know. But it's still, like, it proves their point, but also not. If you get what I mean.
It's grounds to work with, but I don't think that's actually anything important, really. So the thing is, it doesn't mean that Alexandria originated on the Ninth still. But if it did originate on the Ninth, and they're replicating or they're suffering the same situation as the Calamity of Lightning, then we should be looking at overlapping timelines and the paradox effect from 13.2. Both are equally possible. Both means we're fucked. Right now, that's my assessment. It doesn't matter. In the long picture, it really doesn't matter. And in the big picture, it doesn't matter. In any way that I'm trying to operate things, I don't see that having any relevance. The thing about the reflections, we've been doing that through the past arc, right? What we're dealing now is with time. This is 13.2. There's no other way. Like, you put an expansion about 13.2, it's going to be about time and different timelines. There's no other way around that. That's it. It's period. You know.
And that just reminds me of F8. It's like the past, present, and future. It's literally.
Yeah. I mean, you're the 8 expert. I can't really speak much of 8, but if you say that there's also traces of Esthar in Solution 9, then I believe you. And that only means more time.
I want to know more about preservation.
Well, yeah, of course.
Because I'm curious which version of the mad scientist we got here.
Though I will give Aeneas points for the association with Calix and Fandaniel, Amon, and Asahi, because that's exactly, you said it. It's like that vibe, but instead of it's a weird dynamic because the simulant was in the throne, but she was very much a puppet and she knew it, which would be the equivalent of Xeno sitting in the throne, and Calix is Fandaniel, but the personality and mannerisms of Fandaniel are on to the simulant, and the whole thing about Xenos on Calix.
That was some weird shit. Seriously.
And in that situation, Sphene right now is bearing the associations with Hassan, and we by her side are naturally bearing the associations with Hades. By extension, I mean, like that's the, you know.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Oh, you're safe. That broadcast had us worried. The entire populace is on edge.
So Alphino and the others are still out there.
We have a situation on our hands.
That's not weird.
A civilian has been killed by a mechanical soldier here on Trueview.
Phenomenal.
Wayakwe is on the scene and reports that the problem unit has been subdued by another sentry.
That doesn't make sense. Only someone with the King of Resolve's authority could order a soldier to do that.
Well,
apparently not.
Not good. I tried to check the status of the authority, but was blocked from the core system.
We are bone in so many levels.
Given recent developments, I'd wager that Calix is responsible for this.
Perhaps we should go and see for ourselves.
It's me. There's been an incident in the outskirts.
Oh.
A mechanical soldier attacked a local resident. For no apparent reason. Fortunately, several nearby hunters dealt with the rogue machine. So everyone is safe. But if other soldiers were to... Wait. Is that... Oh gods.
Arenville, please.
More hostile sentries are bound for the settlement.
Arenville!
Lure them away and
No!
then lose them somehow.
Ill tidings, I take it.
Well, yeah. Figures.
In the outskirts too?
You'll go and help Erenville, won't you? We couldn't forgive ourselves if he came to harm. I'll have Geo join you from Earth and Sky.
I'm coming too. I can't stay here while my people are in danger.
It's great that you'll help Armville. And it's like, all this shit with the themes of erasing death and stuff. And they send us to help Erenville. There is the stand-in for young Hades. I know you're graying over there.
Let's go.
I mean, what is that to say? Seriously.
That's fair.
Like, it would just be an iteration of an iteration of an iteration of an iteration. That we haven't already reiterated over and over again.
It's hammering it left and right. And I dread searching what people are saying, because I feel for some reason that it's flying over their head.
Yes.
People here took care of me, giving me food and make sure I was alright. I can't imagine that soldiers hurt. Better to imagine that soldiers... Blah blah blah. I don't see Erenville. I pray he hasn't come to harm. So this is how it's inside, these clouds. Oh, never mind. Finding Erenville is what matters right now. Things have settled down here, but still see no sign of Erenville. Let's split up and look for him. Well, Jasmine, please search in the settlement area. Meanwhile, the rest of us, we can defend ourselves. We'll head further out. Erenville, mate, where are you? What the? Ah, it's a tree. Erenville! I'll save you with the power of flower. It's kind of like it's kind of fitting, no? It's like the power of flower sounds like something Persephone would say. It's literally her power, kind of.
True.
That was a close call. My thanks. As I was leading the soldiers away, I caught sight of this poor fellow being pursued. I went to help, but that was rather out of my depth. We're lucky you found us when you did. Erenville, I'm so glad you're safe. Hmm?
And you forgot something. I logged off and I forgot something.
Oh, okay. We were quite worried when we couldn't find you. We encountered soldiers on the way here. Most paid us no mind, but some turned out to be hostile. There's no way to tell until they set on you. That's important. That's so important. There's no way to tell. Trust no one.
Hmm. Disguised. Like it's literally also what we saw in the astrologian questline.
Yeah, Leviva.
Hide in the crowd. Hide in plain sight.
And the others, yeah. Oh god. I'm so glad I replayed those quests. The ones here also attacked without any warning. If I hadn't been paying attention, it could have ended badly. Hopefully the others were able to escape. We should return to the outskirts and take stock. I suppose I could just have teleported, but okay. Oh, it's Malakit. Hello. I didn't expect to see you again so soon. Allow me to thank you again for the earlier help. Hello, Yud. We respect the shelled skulls quickly as we could. Others are out, keeping an eye on soldiers nearby. Thank you, Shimin, for protecting everyone. But you shouldn't have had to. None of this would happen if I could control the soldiers. No one thought that Gloja may have been behind the attacks. They know that he would never make the soldiers do them harm. Even so, he feels responsible for the machine's actions. It is a misplaced burden, and I pray that it drives him not to despair. The situation here appears to have been resolved. I doubt we've seen the last of such incidents. I didn't expect to see Malakit over here. Given his own trauma, I wonder if he'll be alright. Okay, let's see.
Right. We're none the worse for the wear. But let's see what the situation is here.
Geode and his people came and joined us while we were searching for you. After which we happened to encounter Malachite. His usher duties brought him here, and he has quite the story to tell.
It's a bit puzzling, to say the least. Even so, I'll try my best to explain. I was called to attend to the unfortunate soul slain by the mechanical soldier. Yet, when I arrived, I found no body. Only a pile of dust, which the wind quickly scattered.
What? Oh! Oh, right. The life force. They absorb the life force of?
Either the life force or the ether.
Whatever. But...
But here's also the thing. They've been keeping the bodies the whole time, right?
Yeah.
I did ask, what are they doing with the bodies? It's ether. It's a resource. They are using the bodies.
Confused, I questioned the residents, but none knew what had become of it.
Did they remember the victim at least?
They did. Their memories of the deceased weren't sent to the cloud, I don't believe. Yet, no body remained.
Wait a second.
No, I'm still thinking on this myself.
Yeah, this is another phonetic thing, I think.
Which one?
This sentence. They did. The memories of the deceased weren't sent to the cloud, I don't believe. Yet nobody remained.
And what's the phonetic thing?
Nobody.
Oh! Ah, right! No one remained. No body and no memory. That's what they aim for. No way to remember Asm.
Nothing left. Hmm.
And Asm in this context means two things.
But also, we had earlier the delivery quest, basically, with the keepsakes.
Yes.
Because that is sometimes what people remember people by, or like from, or with. Yet if nothing remains of them, there is nothing to remember them by.
If they try to lay a single finger on Asm's crystal, I will attack them.
I want to see that.
Like through the screen.
Actually what I said. It's actually what I said earlier, that right now Asm's crystal is the only thing we have left of Hades.
They may try to steal it, and I haven't ended the patch, to be honest, but they may try to steal it, or they may try to coerce emotionally the wall to give it up. Trying by force is not going to render much result. We know that, right? But
yep.
Emotionally coercing them to be like, why are you holding on to this when this is the cause of, is the remnant of, you know, everything wrong with the world in this context. And it plays on the whole thing about peer pressure and trying to adjust to what others want you to do and not what you want to do. Yes?
And what others are expecting you to do.
I don't know if you know anything else that I don't know, which surely you do, but
if someone took it, surely they would have been noticed.
With your permission, I shall return to the government sector for now. Please take care.
I don't want to say it's hilarious, but we have seen.
This is terrible. Why would they make the soldiers do this?
They are still talking to that person who Like at the end of 7.1, you know? With like the memorial thing.
Yeah.
They are talking to him. He's still a figure of authority. So nothing has changed in there.
If preservation is behind the attacks, I fear this won't be the end of it.
All the Neo-regulators have been distributed, and potentially 5,000 Endless are about to be born. What does Calyx hope to achieve with these killings?
Instigating the fear of death. I think it's obvious. It's two birds in one stone. Instigate the fear of death, and harvest the required life force to do that. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the first thing that came to mind.
Does he seek to frighten people into registering them? Or perhaps...
Oh, thank the 12 you answered. Shale told me what happened. Is everything alright?
That's weird. Why did that weird sound happen before this call? Was it just me, or...?
Which weird sound?
There was like a shrill sound before the Limper sounded.
That I didn't hear, but good thing you picked that up. I would have to check in the cutscene tomorrow. Soken complained about the amount of music and stuff he had to drop. Or like produce. Because quote unquote we are so spoiled and everything, right? But he also said that we should play at a louder volume than usual. That means he was hinting at something subtle he was working on. There were like a couple of things that I might have picked up. That are maybe copium, maybe actually intentional. But this sound effect that you just heard, I didn't hear it. But if it was there and not from the Limper, then he was referring to that. To stuff like this that has been hiding in plain sight, basically.
After this, I'm going to take a cut of the moment and see. I'm going to revisit the cutscene and make sure that I heard that right. And if it is, I can send a clip of it. Okay, let's see.
I see. 'Tis a relief to hear that Erenville is safe. Alas, I do not have good news to share in return. A driver lost control of his vehicle when its interface became unresponsive, and it crashed into the Nexus arcade, injuring several people. Kryl and I are helping to render aid, but with the sentries behaving strangely, we can't afford to lower our guard. Remain vigilant, my friend.
I am not your friend. Fuck off.
I just received word from the backroom. A hover cargo on TrueView threw off its driver, and it's rampaging through the area as we speak.
Alphino had a similarly troubling report for me. Apparently, a riderless machine in the government sector came to life near a crowd clamoring for Neo-regulators. It proceeded to mow down several citizens, causing serious injuries.
This is a tragedy. We must go and help the people.
Sphene, wait! I'm coming with you!
Alphino is with Y'shtola, and he said they'll be all right. I'll go and see if other incidents have occurred elsewhere. From here, I'll head towards the quarry by way of the Drift Downs.
Certainly a lot of hover cargoes coming and going in those parts. I'll join you.
I shall remain here and speak further with the locals. I have company now, so you needn't worry about me.
Then let's return to Solution 9. If we hurry, we can catch up to Lamachi and Sphene.
It was kind of a deliberate shot of Farenville there, but okay. I don't know what it means, but, you know. Just making note that there was a strange shot there of Farenville. Strange. Here, it's like this. Ah, shit, here we go again.
Sphene's gone on ahead. I leave her with you.
Nice.
Simple.
Bloody things have gone mad.
Why is this happening?
Nice.
Surely there's a finite number of these things.
Everyone, please try to remain calm and make your
Why
way
is he
to
still in charge?
resolution. This is just like before, when Zeralja unleashed the soldiers on us. I don't have any souls left. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Yep.
No, you don't! Are you all...
No! No! Why did you do that? Why? You can't just leave me alone like this! If we had been endless, then you'd still be here. You'd still be with me. But now...
Are you alright?
This it's disgusting in the sense of they're damn hard to make death be the enemy. But this is so on the nose, you know?
Not just that. It's literally what I said with 7.3 and Necron. Because all these emotions are now at an all-time high.
So many dead. This is wrong.
Oh,
this
fuck.
Is all wrong.
No, okay, now, okay, we're going down the Endwalker trail now. Fuck! We're riding straight to Endwalker themes. What the fuck, mate? And Meteor freaked out because of the same reason, because of the death, quote unquote. Yes, keep grinning at me. I don't like panning towards the sky in this game anymore. Oh, okay, so I suppose I have to read now. Then the 12-year-old harmed. I'm not thanking the 12 for anything at this moment. Seasonal Soul has missed this tragedy, however. The machine rampage seems to have been only temporary. Soldiers and vehicles alike ceased to operate all at once, as if they had fulfilled their purpose. It's the same outside our keep, though members of Oblivion are keeping watch for a good measure. Anyways. The first attack came shortly after the announcement that Neo regulators had run out. It can't have been a coincidence.
Of course not.
Definitely no, of course. I started to imagine that anyone but Calix could gain control of the soldiers. This must have served his ends in some way. Gulolja, are you still without your authority? It's fine now, I'm in control again. We may take this opportunity to shut down the machines. That's not going to work. There's no guarantee this won't happen again. Lamati just talked with Everkeep's administrators about that. They said it wasn't so simple, see? The mechanical soldiers don't only serve as guards, they also perform various vital tasks, like providing medical treatment and managing food production. If we shut them down, we struggle to render aid to the citizens, let alone restore their lives to normal. They made that so integral to their survival. It's the very same thing that's going to kill them. I made it so they can't use weapons anymore, though. Hopefully that makes it a little safer.
As if that can't be reversed.
Yeah, well, that seems the best approach for now. Thank you for your swift action, Gulolja. This powerlessness. I can't abide it no longer. No matter how much hardship and loss we could endure, if there was but happiness at the end. We talked about the ancients earlier. Now.
Yes.
Yet all I see now is suffering and misery. And I cannot bear it. I want to protect the people. For their happiness I would do anything and everything. So please, please lend me your aid. Again with the calling. To me, right? Oh, well, to Lamat, but anyway. Oh, Sven, you found the words I wish you said back then. Our strength is yours, Sven. Together we'll get through this. Let's split it up and get good work. May I trouble you to report to Shell, my friend? Stop referring to me as that. I'm...
You sure he doesn't do that on purpose?
At this point, I don't know. Malachite and his fellows are tending to the disease. His trauma must make the work difficult, but he's determined to do what he can. Couriers and cleaners are cleaning away the wrecks of vehicles and soldiers. It's the first step to getting things back to normal. Let's see how it's going to last for 4 months, not more. It pains me that the people were made to suffer even more after so much hardship and tragedy. But you and yours saved many lives. I cannot thank you enough.
I mean, in the end, we did. In the traditional sense that she's saying here.
Yes, but thinking of themes, it's like the whole thing about imposing suffering was Renat's angle, yes. So this progression here, it's like, and coming from her, who is embodying the themes of Asem right now, it's like, and it's like, yeah, about that, you know? It's been a trying day, but it seems the worst is behind us. What's the situation out there now? We're boned, that's what... We moved quickly to restore things to normal. Thank you. Yet while disarming the soldiers is indeed prudent, it is a far from comprehensive measure when vehicles can be commandeered to inflict damage and sow chaos. For the time being, I'll set our people to keeping a close watch on machines. I also have a mind to consult the authorities and about enlisting hunters to our aid. I must regain my proficiency in magic. To that end, I shall seek advice from Stola and Alisei. Okay, among the books we recovered from the castle was a grimoire I once used. I hope to learn to wield it again at everyone's side. So she's an arcanist? Well, in tracks because of Garnet being a summoner, yeah?
Yes. And grimoires are what summoners use.
Yeah. As for the key, I think it best that it remains in your care, though it means you will bear the greatest risk. You promised me to go start digging into this fucking patch, and there's nothing about that. We've done shit about it. In order to ease your burden, I shall endeavor to become a capable warrior as make Otis and Selenia proud. Oh yeah, this. Ah, fucking bastard.
By illness weakened, by wounds unmade, by age decayed. such fragile flesh is worthless to us. How mankind should evolve, shall evolve. I have already arrived at the answer. The time is come to pose a new question.
And this is where I audibly gasped.
Which one? Exactly.
The last line.
A new question.
This may very well be a tease to what they have done with Answers and Endwalker.
I mean, yeah, considering where we're going. Right.
No, I mean that Answers got different meaning with Endwalker.
Ah, yeah. So...
So this is basically the dev saying, we have the answer, but can you ask the right question?
Okay.
Yes, that was the patch.
And they still keep blue-balling me about the fucking Grail. Thank you.
Yes. I mean, they did hint at more importance because of how he blocked Azim's crystal when we used it.
I mean, yeah, in a sense, I wasn't expecting much from it, and in a sense, I was thinking, you know, as we were nearing the end of the patch, you know, I was seeing that. Okay, so I suppose no answers yet for when it comes to the Grail, yes. But as the things right now are focusing on Sphene, yes, I think that the conclusion of 7.3 is going to be the conclusion of the story of Sphene per se. Whatever happens to her, I don't know what may be happening to her, you know. And that's when we're going to be left with things, you know. That's going to be the proper conclusion to Dawntrail. And I don't know what's going to happen with the Grail there. I suppose it's going to be something. There will be something, maybe not. But I believe the proper foray into the Grail may well be the point 4 onwards, you know? As in the thread between Dawntrail and whatever it is, 8.0.
You know, I had two thoughts. The Grail doesn't necessarily only respond to Azim. Therefore, anyone can use it. The fact that Sphene is a summoner, they may be at the height of emotions, where with us present and Sphene's fervent desires, maybe even with the combination of everyone's sorrow, that something is getting summoned. Something or someone.
I'm still musing about that last line in the sense of reprieve from death, but at what cost?
It's exactly what we said. Death gives value to life.
For endless life,
So,
a legion lost. But I'm thinking also reprieve from death, but at what cost? At the very same, it's like if you equate death to Hades, it's the thing, you know. Right now, the world is a reprieve from death in the sense that he's no longer in this world. Yes, well, he is in the ethereal sea, but you understand what I mean. And then comes the question, but at what cost? And I think that's the real question for the Warrior of Light. Do you realize what you have lost? Not yet, but you know. Because right now there's this mind game they are playing. They are equating death to something negative still. The science and this whole thing, everyone is thinking about, when they're questioning the thing about eternal life, they're questioning the method, not the purpose. And that worries me a lot. Because under a different argument, they may actually go through that. If it makes sense, I don't know if I'm explaining myself.
I am actually now looking if... I have to apologize, I wasn't really listening.
I can't repeat, don't worry.
Because that last line that you're also ruminating on, I just realized. For endless life, a legion lost. What if that's also a phonetic synonym? A legion.
A legion. I can't think of any word that actually sounds like it, but I'm not a native English speaker, so...
Same, but apparently there is... I mean, it's a company, but... Let me actually check with Quickener.
Calix was also very clearly breaking the fourth wall, looking directly at the player.
Yes, exactly. Like when he said, I already came to an answer. How shall things go?
The shall thing in cursive, it's making me think of, it's going to be this way, so don't bother. It's
exactly.
Almost, yeah. It will happen. And it's like, you can't do anything about that. Which brings me to the themes of fate. And about them, something about the whole thing about preservation knowing something else. Which brings me back to the whole time fuckery thing. But... You know what's actually what worries me, though? There's many things that worry me, but the thing is... There's two things Calix is playing with, you know? One thing is the whole thing about the bodies, you know? Bodies decay, yes. Blah blah blah. The flesh is irrelevant. So it's like, I know how mankind is going to achieve this new stage of evolution, which is, in his eyes, discarding the body, yes? So yes. Then there's when he says, the time is to pose... What was the line again? Surely you have the screenshots better than I do. What is the full dialogue?
Which one?
from the whole thing about the question to the final line?
Oh, he basically said, okay, wrong one. By illness weakened, by wounds unmade, by age decayed. Such fragile flesh is worthless to us. And he barely looks like I think he actually looks at the camera.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
When he says that. How mankind should evolve, shall evolve. I have already arrived at the answer. Looks directly in the camera now. Black screen, the time has come to pose a new question. That's the dialogue.
Right. So, I mean, I don't really want to venture that much, but combined with what Aeneas mentioned about Rakasnar and making death meaningless, I think he's playing, or the whole idea is playing with two things. One is achieving the evolution of the living. The other one is ensuring that nothing gets in the way of this new form of existence. And for that, you have to erase death. I think that's the question. This is about achieving eternal life, yes? But in order to achieve that, you need to erase death. It's like this whole thing about achieving the means for the evolution and then discarding the concept of death altogether. Any possibility of death altogether. Otherwise, there will be an end. He's it's basically trying to stab the water, to be honest, because you can't escape from death. But I mean, I suppose that the point of this whole thing is that there may be a way to escape death, but but I keep going back to this. It irks me so much that the angle he's using is vilifying death.
In every thought we had, or like not every thought we had, but in every, they are playing on the real life mortality thing that we have. So people just forget how without death nothing has really meaning. Like the bucket list you can work on. You have all the time in the world that you want to. But it's just... It's a weird thing. But a different thing I wanted to actually bring up. That pile of dust that got like swept away basically by the wind, blown away. Remember what we said about the empty? Everything in stasis that eventually just decays and turns to dust.
Which we've been discussing this whole thing about how the world may be leaking and bleeding out, and eventually will become nothing but a husk. Because there's open wounds in the world. Metaphorical speaking, but you understand.
Yep.
The whole thing, it just amounts that there's no real it just amounts, to make it simple, that we fucked up. We can't aspire to keep a world bleeding out without patching it to be alive, to endure, to survive, to be preserved. You can't do that. We were fighting a lost cause. But it gives the illusion that you saved the world. And the only thing... Fuck you, Hades. In truth, you're only prolonging the inevitable... prolonging your existence by the smallest of margins. He was already telling us in Shadowbringers. He was already telling that.
Also the fact that it actually reminds me also a bit of that line that Zeno said, between the seconds.
The time between the seconds, yeah.
There is so much going on.
You know the thing though, this whole thing, it only makes Shadowbringers shine brighter, to be honest.
I first of all have to replay it.
We have to replay Shadowbringers. Fuck's sake, everyone should be playing Shadowbringers. Been saying that since fucking expansion dropped.
Shadowbringers. Yeah. Give me 4.
But at this point, however, if we were dealing with if we're dealing with this situation that no matter what we do, we're fucked up, we screwed up, we didn't save shit, we just prolonged its existence a bit more. Imagine that in context to the whole MSQ. That's all we've been doing. We've been doing the same things AI Sphere was doing. So that line by the end, for endless life, a legion lost. Now I'm thinking of the ancients since I saw the Orc.
Wait a second. I think when we have an alliance, what is it called?
Huh?
To be in an alliance with something. synonym. The Legion. Isn't there, like, when you are in an alliance? Why the fuck do I get all the AI stuff now? To pledge? Wait a second. To pledge,
right, I know.
to pledge allegiance.
Allegiance. It's not a one-to-one, but it's close enough. For endless life, allegiance lost.
It's the phonetic that I was going after.
I know. I'm thinking of the possible meaning for that. For endless life, allegiance lost. Allegiance to whom?
I mean, what is the opposite of life?
I mean, yeah, but for endless life, allegiance lost, but to whom? It's making me think of, for the sake of endless life, which is what we fought for all this time during the previous arc, yes? It's basically the supposed preservation of life, and now we find ourselves in this. We fought for that, which means, I mean, in a sense, if Atzen was the founder of the Asians, that means that the Warrior of Light lost their allegiance to that faction, to the Convocation, yes? But this could also have another meaning, if it's the case. It could have another meaning that it's this situation that is the last straw for the Warrior of Light, and it's like, no. That's enough. Not no more. You know?
Actually, like,
I mean,
allegiance.
and it's natural, because if we're fighting an enemy that wants to achieve eternal life, with whom we're going to ally?
Another word for allegiance is loyalty.
Yeah.
Loyalty or devotion. So, for endless life, like, we betrayed. Who did we betray? Or who did betray who?
Oh, fuck! Give me a moment. That was a genius click. Give me a moment. Where's my lyrics analysis? Let me DM this to you. This from the Worm's Tale.
Oh, that one.
From the Worm's Tale, Stormblood.
Duty lost and liberty found. Lost and loyalty. Loyalty lost, found, and liberty. Liberty found most is loyal. Liberty found most is loyal, yeah. That's basically the last line there.
It's if it's that way, then Stormblood.
And duty lost in liberty? Like, if you're free of death, you basically have endless life.
But at this
But
point,
that's not your purpose.
But we know the thing is, it's basically eternal life. But this is eternal life in servitude. Aside from the fact that there's no real life in, this. But aside from that, what use is living eternally if you're living in chains, right?
Yes.
That's a big theme, that right there. Death is liberation. And it sounds a bit cultist, but but it's a theme. What I'm going to do.
It is that duality, and with what I said, like in connection to the red lines that we just had. What you sent me actually has a different meaning than if we think of it the other way around.
You mean reading it backwards?
No, I mean, if we were to connect that with the red lines that we had. Reprieve from death, but at what cost? For endless life, a legion lost. Duty lost and liberty. Like, what was... You lost your purpose because death won. But then also, being free of death. You lost, you failed your actual purpose. Like, it's the intended purpose for you by others, and then the one you have for yourself, or the actual one that is your own.
Here's the thing, though. The warrior of light, the self of the world, the stalk the world, as you say world, and differentiate between two selves within the world. One is the warrior of light, the other one is Asen, yes? The warrior of light self is duty. That's what's been defining us every single fucking time throughout this whole thing. And in the name of duty, it's why we struck Hades down. Regardless of whatever else he had in mind that he may have, positioned himself to serve as sacrifice for us to live. It's a possibility. It's one of the possibilities, really. Aside from that, but the Warrior of Light doesn't know. The world doesn't know this. For the world, the situation is as simple as we were enemies and we're allies, as of now. We're friends in that aspect. It's one of these weird twists of turns on situation, but to me what stands out is in the name of duty. Let me put it this way, and it's going to sound like that, but I can't help it, okay? In the name of duty, we kill love.
And that is the question, if it's worth. Like, is love worth fighting for? And the answer will always be yes.
To me, okay, let me put it this way, because it's true that Hades in many aspects was motivated by duty, yes? No one is denying that he had a sense of duty, of course. But that's not what really drives Hades. That's the big difference. The Warrior of Light is driven by duty more than love. In Hades' case, it's the other way around. There is an element of duty, but what actually really drives him is love. If it makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes.
So... right, so here's the thing. In that fight, I go back to the trial, yes? And it's bullshit that Hades lost. But if you recall the trial, why do we win? Because at some point, at some moment, the quote-unquote light bursts from us. And that's when Hades snaps, really. So it's another convenient Deus Ex Machina, and that's actually quite on point situation. But otherwise, I'm convinced he would have won without the convenient intervention. All the things that keep saving the wall, the Warrior of Light, is fucking divine intervention. It's Deus Ex Machina.
Remember how earlier we said that, what was it? The Catman prevented the death of the Warrior of Light, and therefore, like, all of that. One could say it's literally plot armor.
That's one way of actually defining plot armor in the darkest aspect of it. You can't die. Because you're made to not die. You have this plot armor because someone wants you to never die.
Which, again, would actually strengthen the argument that the devs play Ultima. Or pose as Ultima.
I mean, yeah.
So it's us against the devs.
On truly Yoko Taro fashion in the credits in ending E of Nier Automata. But oh my god, it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. Because imagine for a moment that the whole thing about the density of souls and the ancients wasn't a thing, okay? And that they could be reborn and all that. And the ending of Ultima Thule is actually an intention of meeting again upon death. This shit is basically saying, nope, you're not going to go down there and reunite with Hades in your fucking life. It's so fucked up. And regardless of the rest of the things about the ancients not being able to be reborn in sand bodies and all that shit, which is another story. But just by that, right now, it's like, you can't die. Because I don't want you to die. And this usually would be seen as a positive thing. But here, it's dark as fuck. And it's really, really messed up. And it's the prohibition that you're not going down there. You're not going to be reuniting with him ever again. It's so messed up. And it's like...
a compelling story.
Well, of course it's compelling! It's the whole thing again of...
It's the lyrics of Stormblood.
I would have to check.
Like with the solemn pyre. What was that paragraph again?
A lover lost, a family torn, a solemn pyre raised to rouse the slumbering heavens.
Well. But yeah, with this insight, we actually need to go over the lyrics again.
Again! But at this point...
Actually, I want to see of every expansion, or like every big patch, those last lines that they sent. Like this riddle thing. Because I have a feeling that with Dawn Tread they decided to play more with the event thing, like the tombstone events where you can
Right.
basically where they are hinting at stuff, but then also the I need to go back and see if there are more of examples of the phonetic things. Because if they actually play with phonetics here, then a lot can be hidden.
Oh, well, for sure. In hindsight, I will say, my brain's steaming, but in hindsight, chilled, calm down. It's like none of this is actually news for us, really.
Yes.
That's the thing. None of this is news for us.
We knew it was going to be this way. We just didn't anticipate it be this. Like,
quote unquote, but
I mean, yeah, but the delivery is how it made it so impactful. We knew it was gonna happen, just not how.
I mean, again, new quote unquote, because again, we're just reading things, right? We're interpreting things. We could be wrong, of course.
We speculated, but this whole patch was basically... This patch for me confirmed like 2 or 3 theories that I've said. Like the bodies, the ether, and what we've been speculating. And maybe some more. I'm like, yep, thank you. Like finally it's getting addressed. Because it's just logical. Like for example, the people affected by the Levin sickness. If they want to recover, they need to get out of the fucking dome. No one thought about that. And it took 2 patches to actually see, hey, maybe that should be happening. I'm like, duh.
But right now there is no going around Hades. I mean, that's a thing. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
But and the moment with Asum's crystal, that was lapidary in the sense of there's no way around that. It cements it. It's just, you know. And again, I kind of dread going into the content and into the fanbase reactions to things because I'm going to be bashing my head against the wall. But
yeah, same. Most likely same. I mean, I already kind of did too, so.
I mean, yeah, but please don't bring that up again. Not
no,
right
no,
now.
No, I will not.
I mean, not right now. I mean, because I'm still, well, anyways. But right. So what I was saying, yeah. The thing that baffles me is I get the feeling that we're going to be the ones screaming into the void in a sense again. And oh god, and
as per usual.
And no one is going to fucking catch a single thing here again. Even when they have notably amped up the levels of not subtlety, this whole patch was not subtle, which is something that actually mentioned that I suspected they could be going for this. Because, you know, because of fandom literacy, you know. If I will say though, if after this patch people keep not realizing where we're going, then CBU3, honestly, don't bother. You're doing great. You're doing phenomenal. It's just, it's not your fault, you know.
There was also the speculation going on that games are being made for the people and not for the game's sake, which then reduces its value and diminishes.
If you were to give the people the stories they want to, you would be doing really, really cheap work. That doesn't work.
Not just cheap work. It literally wouldn't work because even the people don't know what they want.
Aside from that, and there's no pleasing everyone. So this is always, I always say as a content creator, do what you want to, and people notice that genuine element of personality when you do what you want. You're not going to please everyone, but those who appreciate the work will stay around. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a difficult year. Not difficult because to me it's extremely hype, but it's difficult because of the whole thing about the doomsaying against Dawntrail. And it's really, really infuriating right now.
Especially after we played the patch, because it's fucking awesome.
It's and this is the doomsaying of Dawntrail and all this thing. It's one of the things that make me, go like, am I the only one seeing this? Am I really so high on fumes and copium? Which by now it has extended to you, as we've been working in this monstrosity together for the past months. But
there's also the possibility that we are just completely wrong. But even back then when we started, it's either 100% right or 100% wrong. That's no gray zone.
That's the thing, but so far, isn't it creepy that so far it's just validation? I mean, we could run out of luck, but so far,
it's weird as fuck. Or we just do something right.
But if there's one thing, however, I feel validated. Where the fuck do I leave my? Okay, here. If there's one thing I feel validated though, is that all the many hours of research and work, they pay off. So I'm going to keep doing that. Because many of these things we wouldn't be able to realize perhaps without those hours and months of research and rumination and elaboration. And
there we go.
Of course.
I found the tweet actually. Soken tweeted yesterday. 2 days ago. Be amazed at the amount of sound resources in this patch. Please play the game at a louder volume than usual. And it has a screenshot of the patch notes. New music, sound effects, and voices have been added. Sound effects.
Right.
Exactly. But I will take this now to go bitch. It's 3:12 p.m.
Yeah.
A.m.
And I have to keep track of things and see what Caldwell wanted to discuss with me. So.
Yeah, you have a long night in front of you.
Yeah. I'm going to pause recording now.